Deal mostly with things that a good landlord already does. But there's the things that are bad, they're with others. If you're a good landlord, I talked to Darrell Walker. He says, well, we already do all that. I said, that's great. But there's a lot of people who don't. The state of New York, as you may know, back in early this year, end of January, 1st of February, passed a short-term rental law. People said, well, we don't need a law. They have one. Well, the state law is focused on collecting taxes. You don't have that.
That's right, there's sales tax on short-term rental.
The New York State looking for taxes. Section 447-B, short-term rental units regulation. You're required to have a fire extinguisher, an emergency phone number for the police, fire, and poison control, and a diagram in case you need to evacuate. That's it. Obviously, that is bare minimum. Things that it will address smoke detectors, it will address egresses.
Right, but we can't get these places insured without doing all the things that you don't even have on the list.
Well,
I mean,
You get a CMO, don't you need all that anymore?
Well, that
No.
was one of the complaints we originally suggested. A large liable. We got beat up over that, so we agreed to just say you have to have liability insurance. The state does require everybody who runs a short-term rental to register. They want the money. They also require a minimum of $300,000 liability. I've been told bookings are down. From what I've heard, bookings are down a lot of places.
Right, that's right.
Of course, we have a free market economy. One of the principles of a free market economy is supply and demand. Number of our short-term rentals is rising every year. More there is to choose from. You know, some people are on free for benefits, some are, they want to lose a few credits. We discussed, projected by some of the residents, that we limit the number of short-term rentals. And we discussed that. Of course, the people who have the short-term rentals didn't like that idea either. We were advised that Canada was in the middle of a lawsuit at that time for their defense to regulate the number of short-term rentals. And if it's been solved,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they lost at the first stage, but they had, theirs was designed different than yours. They limited it to only so many on per street and so forth.
so, parking was another hot issue.
That's right, parking is a big issue. Is that in this new law?
We have parking in here. We have one space for every bedroom. We also made provisions for those who are limited on where they can park, but they can ask the CEO for permission to include public parking. This is brought to us by owners of the in the business district, that historically used public parking. Because they had no room. We agree that parking spaces could include the lawn. Because of when residents use the lawns. We didn't see any point in discriminating.
So there's no, in your law, it sounds to me like there is no parking minimum, is there? I mean, if you're down on,
Well, if I
say you're down on a numbered street, it would have crammed in.
Well,
Yeah, Bruce, on page,
I haven't seen it. Go ahead.
okay, 151 4 B2, their current draft, the required number of parking spaces. The minimum number of parking spaces for overnight guests should not be less than the number of bedrooms, including of public parking space may be allowed at the discretion of the CEO.
Well, yes, right.
So,
we have,
not to be devil's advocate, so I have an Airbnb down close quarters, 40-foot under lots. I have 3 bedrooms, I got room for a car. What happens with the other 2 cars, so they don't park in the street? I understand what you're saying, that they would have to designate municipal parking. But then they would have to get them over there and get them back, get my crib.
right, so where would you park?
I'm saying if you don't have enough parking, you shouldn't be able to have it by bedroom, I agree with that.
Well,
1 car per bedroom.
well, that's fine, Bruce, if-
Well, so I had there's 6 in my family, and I would go on vacation with 1 car, and I would bring all my kids, and we need 3 bedrooms, right? So I don't need 2 cars, but I need a 3 bed.
That's okay.
Right. So as long as I bring a car, so.
That's right, you're
Yeah.
right.
What if you have 3 bedrooms and three separate couples wanna go? And if, you know, you got 3 cars, you only got 1 spot. What do you do?
Well, so you advertise, I have 1 spot, and people just have to make accommodations, most people can figure that out, there's public
You
parking.
know, the Pakistanis come 20 in the car. He's a blast watching it out.
So it is an issue, and I think it's a legit issue for the
I
neighbors.
mean,
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, personally, I don't think I would have a parking issue with my properties, but yeah. that's just
No, but
devil's advocate.
none of us want to see cars plugging up the street, believe me when I tell you.
Right.
When, I'm ready to
No.
watch from the Sundays is atrocious, and God forbid there's a fire, I'm gonna get a fire truck down that street. People are parking on my front lawn, and I'm just like, yeah, okay.
I guess the point is if you're gonna disallow them being Airbnb, because they have 3 bedrooms on 1 parking spot.
No, that could be an Airbnb, there's just major limits. How many cars come?
But nobody's gonna go around and police the cars,
I,
just so you know, they're
It
not.
creates an enforceability issue.
Right.
We can't get it with some others.
I'm not,
But that's why we're having a public hearing to discuss it. Right now.
I'm not. Here to police it. What the standard that are in most codes. We were asked to model our codes after down your own. So, we pointed out that there is a big difference between those 2 towns in the village.
Guys. Thank you.
That's all.
No, you're all right. You're all right. I just, the 3 of them in the back were having a conversation.
Sorry.
Yeah, we
Apologize.
try to mold this with the argument. Again,
I heard what first started this, Bruce, was somebody complained, which is everything possible. Because somebody had a big party at one of these rental places.
I can't tell you what got Dave to come to us and say, I want it all.
I mean, it doesn't matter, because take that example. Do you have something in your law about noise or how this works?
Yes. The noise are. There's, I believe it's 7 to 11. It's 7 to 10, second,
10 to 7.
pardon,
10 to 7.
10 to 7.
What do you mean, 10-7?
10 PM, 7 AM, you gotta keep the noise down.
Well, between 7 to 10 during the day. You can have your party, whatever, but after 10 o'clock, then stop, can't start again until the next day itself.
What constitute noise for neighbor hearing you? I mean, what's?
Kids out playing volleyball in the yard, what constitutes noise?
First level. I'm trying to. No. What's the level of noise?
It's
I mean, I got people next door that were having a pretty big party maybe 3 weeks ago that were running my next door neighbor's place. I can hear them, but
I almost called it copy on you.
yes, all right. But, but yeah,
This is,
I mean, was it unbearable?
It's kind of
no,
difficult.
it's not limited to just the Airbnbs, you know.
That's just,
It's not picking on the work that you guys do.
that should just be.
So let me read it. So it says noises normally associated with the use of a residence are permitted.
Okay.
Open-ended, and then an example, crying babies, like you can't bitch and moan if the kid's crying,
Exactly.
right? So there is no DB, there is no, I mean, we talked about that, and I mean, to actually enforce that, that's really hard. So
So, point.
we're, I mean,
But isn't there just a noise ordinance for the whole town anyways? I would imagine it would be the same noise ordinance for the whole town, so why can't, you know what I mean?
There is one, there's one for the county.
Right, but all the current law states is that the homeowner has to have house rules provided to the guests, and that's one of the house rules.
Right, but I mean, just as far as like, not a short-term rental, but just a regular home.
Yeah, there's a noise ordinance in every community, but all this is stating is the list of house rules that the Airbnb or
We need
owner.
to relate to the.
We don't,
Okay.
we don't want that clientele to begin.
Yeah, exactly, so that's not a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's just.
No, it's a quick-
Right, baby,
Listen, basically.
I've had a lot of those.
Neighbor.
Right.
Include.
Okay. Yeah.
Needs to point out for authors of plans and our-
The county market is like now.
We had it before with
So basically, board, and I agree with this without even reading this. The owner of the property, whether it's Bruce Carey, you, whoever has one of these things, is responsible to run it properly, okay? Because you can call the police if Joe Blow and his wife are out there beating the crap out of each other, but in that case, they should be put on notice or something. Because if it becomes a habitual thing, no, then you're gonna have to do something a little more severe with people. I don't know anybody that doesn't try to do a good job with Airbnbs. I only know that you can't tell what they're like on a computer until they get out of their car. Then you can size them up, so.
We do have section 151-7 complaints. On receipt of a complaint, violation of code enforcement officer shall involve and investigate the presence of violation goes on after so many. They can hold a hearing and revoke that permit.
And here you go.
What kind of processing do we talking?
What the hell you worry about?
See,
Don't worry about it.
on 151-7C, if the property owner does not comply with the corrective action by the date given, the code officer, village of Silver Point may initiate procedures to revoke permit, or take such actions against the property owner as permitted pursuant to the code of the village of Silver Point. Code officer shall refer the property owners believed to be in violation of the local law to the zoning board. After a public hearing, the zoning board shall determine whether permit should be revoked. The referral to the zoning board may be made in addition to any other penalties by law. Complaints or violation may lead to suspension of the short-term and will permit application of the same will be not or may renew.
Right, and you gotta remember that anybody can file a complaint, can't they?
Right.
Right? Your neighbor doesn't like you. They're gonna be filing
Well,
complaints.
that's
about you.
why.
But I mean, it's just the way it is.
It has to be in writing. Fine. And then Kevin will look at it, say. Or you say, okay, so that one with,
I don't think there's gonna be that much, because how many complaints do you get normally?
About Airbnbs, every year, one or two.
You know, so we're not talking,
All right, let's, if we got, not to interrupt what's going on here, but if there's anybody else in the room, let's move on to them and see if they've got
I
something
would be
different.
happy to let the talk.
I'm sure you will. Anybody else got a comment?
I'll go.
this is a regular love fest. We thought this was gonna be a slugfest.
No, I mean, it is the new vote thing, many municipalities are writing these codes and that, and, you know, as I've said before, and so to this point, we've had them for 100 years, just like Bruce has said, and, you know, yes, it's been more formalized and, you know, listen to Bruce say that, yeah, we've had an increase in them, which I wouldn't argue that, but we don't have a metric to say, you know, how many we increased in the last 5 years each year. But how many we have fallen off because they're not cash flowing, and they're not doing what people thought they bought these properties and they thought they were gonna cash flow, and they were gonna make all this money and they're being. Come to find
That's
out,
right.
they can't find someone to clean it, the turnovers are hard, it's not
That's
looking
right.
enough. So, you know, Kevin just brought the metric, we got, you know, 2 complaints a year. I mean, so basically for 2, 3, 4% of the Airbnb, you know, of the Airbnb bookings, you know, maybe 1% of them, we're writing a whole code. That's gonna create an enforcement issue for Kevin. Kevin's busy as it is. Now we gotta look at our gross payroll against our gross budget. We're gonna have to hire someone to do this enforcement, or we're gonna have to double Kevin's salary, so he's on call 24/7. Hey, the guy won't turn his radio down next door. Or does he have to get the police report, to write the report, to cite the people? I mean, he could get bogged down with one bad Airbnb. It could take 2 days of his week that he doesn't have. So I think we have to be real cautious about this code. And I know, you know, Bill and Bruce worked hard on this thing for years, and I hate them throw it to the wayside, but I think we gotta be real careful with this thing, and we can't write codes that we're not gonna be able to enforce. I mean, I look at code 141, that took 3 years to do, and if you drive around and look at the code, we're still not in compliance with the code. I mean, I can name 5 places that need to be straightened out right now, but it's not Kevin's fault, it's just when you write enforceable code, you can't, you know, it just creates an impossible task. And our code enforcement officer, I mean, he stepped into a job with, you know, after the flooding, you know, raising houses, and we've had a huge turnover. I bet you 60% of Credit Street's probably turned over in the next 4 years. Would you say that way?
You know, quite that much, but a lot of people, yeah, sold.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on in this town. You know, I know the core of this is Second Street, and I feel, you know, Jean Halligan, I consider her a friend, and she's got 3 large Airbnbs that flank her, 2 across the road and 1 right next door to her. You know, that, a lot of those complaints of the parking and the garbage were addressed in code 141. And, you know, she's under siege down there because they're just, you know. Whatever happened with those homes, you know, they were before the code was written, or there was variances given, but, you know, they're like clown cars, one sleeps like 16, you only got 3 parking spots, I mean, it's tough. So, I think we just need to be cautious. I don't think the code's, you know, terribly written by any means. It's been turned over and turned over and turned over, but. How are we gonna enforce it? Do we have is it gonna be a net zero gain for the village for a 2% or 3% problem that we're having? Now we gotta, you know, throw someone on the bus for 30, 40, 50,000, give them 50% more. Paying a per diem for every call he's gotta take after hours, and, you know, what's it gonna cost us as a village, and how's it gonna impact the taxes? On top of it, yeah, there's Airbnbs going everywhere, but if we sit there and say, well. It's not really the internal competition, it's the external competition. We need to populate our Airbnbs in order, we've got a great growth in business right now, but we need to populate these businesses. Otherwise, they're not gonna survive. I mean. And I watch, you know, the Mexican restaurant, I mean, they had their first year, they were new, they got a lot of business, second year fell off, this year they're gaining some growth, but. You know, we can't afford any deterrent. If we want this village to continue to grow and our businesses to thrive, but not at the expense of the residents. And we have to be careful. That's all I'm saying. We're not, you know, let's bring up A Bay or Canada, or something else. We're not, I mean, oh, we are not. And we'll never be one of those places. I mean, we can. And I don't know if we want to be one of those places, but, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't have any rules, but we definitely need to be careful of the rules that we. Bring to the table, make a law.
Well, it's what you're talking, it's the same with the restaurants, man. They can't afford to lose restaurants, gained as it is right now. but we can't afford to lose restaurants. So they're big business.
Because the other problem with this is. The selective enforcement piece, if something goes apart, Kevin's not enforcing it all the way across the road, or with everybody. We're gonna lose that case every time, I mean, yeah, if you weigh in on that, I mean, if someone can prove selective enforcement, how much is it, what's our code worth, is it worth the paper it's written on?
Well, I mean. It depends, I guess, not to give you the typical lawyer answer, but, you know, just, you don't necessarily have to enforce against every single one. If it's one that's a particular problem, you know, I guess my take on it, when I understand, you know, what you're saying, but if, at least it's better to have the enforcement mechanism there and not use it than not to have it at all, I guess. But obviously you can't just target one homeowner either, so. So yeah, I mean, if they brought it against, you see that all the time on cleanup cases on like out in Arcadia and Wolcott and stuff, when you're agreeing against one, they're like, well, there's all these other neighbors that had the same problems, and the judges, I mean. They haven't necessarily thrown it out just for that, I wanna say, but,
It makes,
usually you just say they haven't.
it
gotten
makes
to
it
the
makes it more
point.
difficult. For you.
Yeah, it's, yeah, for sure,
You know, if you, I rather be going to court, you know, as an attorney saying, well, 99 people are following the law, this one guy is.
right,
Than the other way around.
Yeah.
So.
for sure.
That's all.
Mhm.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Anybody else there? Any other comments? Anybody online? We
There's
did
no
get,
problem with the Zoom, it's a link up.
Yeah, people are on it.
I have a couple people, but it's not on the website, where is it?
Here it comes.
News and notice, it's on.
It's not under the note, I just looked on the website. There's a couple people texting me.
hold on. The sign out by the road out here shows up too, it got so hot, it automatically shuts down, so the big sign,
Oh, gosh,
yeah, 140 degrees and it goes
yeah.
black, so. Looks like there's so many people besides. Nobody else at this time?
I have a question. Lynn Nesbit, 7585 7th Street. So one of the things I wanted to ask was under the representation and certifications G, number 3, the affidavit of safety and compliance inspection. Will that be something that's like provided as a checklist for us to actually go through and then get notarized and then submit it to Kevin, the code enforcer? And also like one of the things here under 9, the number of sleeping rooms within the short-term rental unit must be confirmed by the code enforcement officer. So then, does that mean that we'll have to schedule something to get it inspected in a sense by Kevin to make sure that we are in agreement in terms of how many people can sleep in the short-term rental before we even do this whole thing?
So I can try, I'm not sure exactly where, the second question about the bedrooms was, but, I know that it allowed for like an attestation, right? Where the homeowner can fill out and certify how many's there. I believe the code officer does have the right to ask to inspect it if they wanted to, but I would assume usually just the attestation of the homeowner is sufficient. And what was, I'm sorry, the first question again? Oh, about if there's gonna be a checklist, they would put together an application for the permit, which would specify what needs to be provided. Right,
Yeah, that was the process. No.
did it answer your questions?
Clarified it, thank you.
Did you say Nesbit, or are you related to Judge Nesbit?
So it's here.
That will be my former father-in-law. I married into the Nesbit family, so there you go. Yeah,
I respected your former father-in-law a lot, so.
thank you. I think he was well loved in the community, so we are very sad.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Anybody else in the crowd?
Phil, it's up there, but it's not, it's showing on the homepage, but it's not showing under news and notice. We have it on Facebook, if you can tell people, it's on our Facebook, should be posted. But it's on the website, it just,
And it's not showing on the mobile app, but it's showing on the
so,
computer,
Lori,
the
see
desktop.
here?
Yeah.
So then if you click, it just disappears.
Oh,
Edit.
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna close the public hearing. Thank you for your help. We'll, as a board, kind of take a look at some of the stuff that was brought up. I did get something in the mail, in an email, with 3 things at the bottom. I think you guys got copies of them. They're all highlighted, Morgan's affidavit, inspections, occupancy limits, that kind of thing, questions from them. Take a look at them and we'll get set up to do another meeting or do a meeting in August.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to make more of a better decision.
So, Bill,
Yes,
don't close the hearing, just do a motion to adjourn it.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. So
Can I
you
make a motion to adjourn the hearing?
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye, okay. All right, I'm gonna take about a 5-minute break here, get stuff straightened around, and go into the regular meeting. And then we'll go from there.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, for your input.
So Phil, link is posted on our Facebook. I don't know why the website's not. It's on the main page, but then it just disappears. For some reason.
Yeah, it was, yeah, when I didn't. Figured out. Yeah, I didn't find it, but I found out. It was-
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Just has something on it. Thank you, guys.
I could staff, yeah, but, you know. I can actually read it. I got my writing. I did it fall down on the grass. I couldn't just- That is had to be- it's gotta be
Normal. They usually keep it like, how long is it usually go? 79 or 80? Yeah, 79 or 80 is what their normal temperature.
I gotta back and look at us.
See the inspection show. Never.
Certain aspects.
Normally, we're supposed to get engineers. Stop for a second.
He's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to that.
Right.
White pieces.
That's all they said. Okay, how about G's and D's? Yeah, or, yeah, I know, well, but obviously, if I got short or something.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, folks, let's start the regular meeting, please. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. And one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mayor Blue here. Trustee Strike. Here. Trustee Madison. Here. Trustee Noah.
Yes.
Trustee Burbidge.
Yeah.
And CEO Russell. Yep. And. No. Okay.
That's it. I'm not that board, I'm an advisor.
We're liaisons, he's the attorney.
Yeah.
We've got to have approval of the June 26th regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Reports for me, fire department had 11 calls from the 26th of June until the 11th of July. Some fire alarms, some MVAs, that kind of good mixture. SPFD had state class, the fire department had state class over here. the last 2 weekends. First weekend was to make sure everybody could swim before they tried to drown the second weekend. But that's, so they spent a lot of time in the water in 2 weeks, and the second week was all with the Argo, or not the Argos, the rubber boats and that stuff, the small ones. 16 hours or 8 hours each day. They had 2 members here, or 3 members took the class. Upcoming events, boot drive 9/2, that's the beginning, actually the beginning of their fun drive. And the SPFD golf tournament 9/18, and I think they still got openings. I'm not sure about that. I know they did here just recently. Monthly report from Kevin. We had 15 building permits issued, worked with the water department, zoning and planning reviews. Total permits were 15, generated $1,655. We had a couple of things come up. We had an email from a lady down on one of the short streets, well, right off the end of 6th Street, I think 6th or 7th. Concerned with speed, and there's tire marks in front of her house that are where somebody had burned out. So I went down, took a ride. Kevin and I have been talking about the fact that we need some signage down there. There is no speed limit signs in the section from the corner of Bay Street Extension to, well, all the way to the county park. So well, they apparently were taken out when they did the rebuild down there, and we're not gonna get back in. Okay, so we're gonna get those set back up and put in one on each side. We do have measurements in that we have to have so far away from intersections and that kind of thing. That's being done. To try and help slow things down, they want to put speed bumps in. We're not allowed to. So what we did is we're ordering some crosswalk markers that would go like the one over here, similar to the one that used to be out in front of the fire hall, right on the yellow line. There's 3 crosswalks on that end from 5th Street. So we're gonna put one at each crosswalk on the center line. They're just stand-up signs. And then the other way, we're gonna put some lane dividers, which are basically cones, and we're trying to get them with slow down or slow or whatever on them, and put those spaced a ways apart from 5th Street to the corner of Bay Street Extension to try and get the speed down, without spending a ton of money and that kind of thing. That was something that was worked on. The dumpster behind the fire hall is gotten to a point where it's full right to the gills with old chairs. I mean, all sorts of junk, okay? It is for the agencies here. It is for the fire department, for the village clerk, or the village hall, and such as that. Please, I'm begging you, stop using it for that. And you can go to your other half when we get to you, Matt, and you can take care of that downtown. It's not for public use. If it comes down to it, we'll put a lock on it. We don't want to do that. It's one thing if somebody comes in and has a bag of garbage and they toss in, we aren't going to get away from that. But I'm talking furniture, cabinets, I mean, all kinds of stuff getting thrown in there. They can take it over to K&D, I think it is over in Norcon 31. And they'll take it over there on scales, they weigh it, throw it in the garbage and come back, so. No, exactly. Another thing that we're talking about doing, was brought up by the county. When they start doing their work on the East Pier, is to have somebody come in with a drone. I don't know if you had that on there or not. No, I'm sorry, I just wasn't. Somebody with a drone, the fire department has a very expensive drone that would be very easily for them to do. And take pictures of the streets coming into the village, Lake Road, 14, any of that. And videos, whatever, to see what kind of shape they're in now and what kind of shape they're in when they're done. So we have a leg to stand on. Kevin Rooney from the county says he's been talking with the contractors and that in the state, and state kind of hems and haws or whatever, but he said if we had something like that, it will at least be a leg to stand on and work with. So after they're gonna talk with the fire department, and if they can't do it, there is some, Phil, I'm sorry.
Can't you just ask for the common courtesy that they use Route 14, which is the state highway?
That's
At least
what,
we get to the village, and then if they're gonna do this out of the Coast Guard station, maybe we just make them bond Bay Street Extension
Yeah.
and Wickham Boulevard.
and Kevin Rooney, because it's in the county area down there, Kevin has talked to them about doing it, and he's in conversation with them right now. but this was just something he suggested for down the road if we got a chance to do it.
I mean, really, it's same things are Airbnbs, it's just common human courtesy.
I understand.
And it's all really nice.
The comment. Thank you.
What's that?
I didn't know it was public comment here.
Well, that's,
If you there.
he was just sending us a point, that's all. The last thing that I've got that I brought up to Tracy and I want to bring up to the board is there's a program called the Lens Program, which is a license tracking program that the village could be involved in with their workers, with the fire department, with the ambulance. You put them all in this program, and if they have a ticket or there's a problem, it comes back to us. Darn near, matter of fact, normally it comes back to us. I used it when I was in transportation. It comes back before they almost know that they've got a problem. Not a big expense. You have to set up an account with the state, and for everybody that goes in, they charge you $7. And then if there's a notice sent out to us because they got a ticket or whatever it may be, it's $1 for each person that does it. I talked with Tracy. We're going to get back at it again to see. It's not a bad program to use, and it's practically free to do it. But that's something that I just thought that it would help, because new people that we may have coming in with hires and that down the road, we can check licenses that way. And it'll be excellent for the fire department, because even though they're the fire department, they're required to do a background check, and so is the ambulance, and it would be great for that. When it comes to a background check like that, normally the only thing they do will say to you is, like if we use the sheriff, is, you might want to stay away from them. Or looks like they'd make a good person for the job, without going through the state and, oh yeah, any real hangouts. So, that's something we're looking at. Sorry, I guess that's it, for mine, trustee Sprite.
Okay, I have the water report first. So everybody knows that Nate resigned. His last day was June 30th, so we actually went to the village of Sodus for help. The village of Sodus is actually doing our daily testing and monthly reporting. They actually helped us with a water leak and did a dig, I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago. And they're continuing to help. From a stakeout perspective, they're also going to help with that stuff. And then from a readings perspective, we got the readings done. Kevin and Nate did them before Nate left, so the readings were done. So this next go around, obviously we have to address that, but that'll be in the future. And then we know we've identified a leak, and we think we have another one. So we're gonna try to find it. So there's a yard hydrant on Bay Street, and then South Shore, there's a water loop it's a mystery where it is, but there is a leak because there's fluoride in it. So that is the water report. Any questions? Very good, okay. So, and then from a sewer department, we are looking at either a main lift station pump rebuild or buy new. Tracy has those prices. We need a quote. We have a grease problem on Clover that we have to deal with that we'll talk more about. And get quotes on that. And then there's the ongoing issue between Tidesides and South Shore, which is right in you, I think. Or no, maybe that's further down. We want the engineering camera company to find a problem in the line. Sounds like there's groundwater getting in, specifically in the manhole. We're also waiting on Calisino to fix 3 pump station issues. And for months, we can't get them to respond. So he's also reached out to a new SCADA provider to look at quotes as a potential replacement. And then obviously he's been doing garbage, flowers, all of the things that he does on the side after he does his regular job. So that's what's going on. So. No, should I really quickly, just so everybody knows, on the lighting side of things. We've identified we have no power. There are 2 or 3 lights along kind of where Greg Street between Docks and Jack's, and we think power got dug up. We were told by a resident that power got dug up for those power poles, so there is no power to those poles. So we're investigating. What will it take to put power to those poles? In the meantime, the folks at Doc's put two temporary LED solar lights to solve lighting the parking lots better, so from a lighting perspective, that's it, and then we also have a little bit of a worry that the software is gonna go into support relatively soon, so the lights will go back to just on and off. So we won't have any control of actually individual lighting unless we do a project to add a new control system.
Still new software or is-
It's literally a cloud-based solution. We gotta get a new router, new Verizon connection, and then the cloud software would, somebody'd have to actually configure all the lights into it. I understand how it works. I used to sell it, but
Right.
it's a project somebody's gonna have to do for 260 some odd lights.
Okay, they will be doing a smoke test.
Yes.
Between the 12th and the 15th, looking for leaks, so. Just be aware, that's all. Trustee Madison.
Silver Waters Ambulance had 13 calls for the month of June, 7 of which were billable. They also did the training in June with Wayne County EMS and Coast Guard Auxiliary. Currently, they're working with a 2-person team daily. Tourism, the information center is now open 10 to 5, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. There is posting on the outside of the door anyway. Lifeguards are at the beach every day now, starting in July. In my volunteer activities is with Music Tuesday in the last couple of weeks, I heard 3 different tourists comment that a lot was going on in Sodas Point this summer and that there were many businesses, new and old, open. It was really nice to hear comments like this. They were totally unsolicited. Keep up the good work, businesses and organizations, hopefully we continue with the good weather. The season goes fast. Shop local, continue to support the businesses. I know Phil always says that, but it's important that our locals support the businesses as well. Communication, posters and event listings. I know I've said this website before, sodusbayevents.net. Has the listings of what's going on, also on the Facebook page. And I don't believe I tried it, and you can get on the Village of Sodas Point, www.facebook.com/Village of Sodas Point, all one word. They try to get you to sign in. If you hit escape, you just get to this, you get to the site. I don't know how long they let you look through it. I don't know if you can look way back, but anyway, you don't have to have a Facebook account to get in there. The village website, I know probably most people know it, soduspoint.info. And there's also links there if you have anything, if you have a new event or something like that, reach out. Zoning Board of Appeals, no report on that. They've been busy. So, missed a few meetings.
Thank you.
That's a schedule.
Just one thing before, Matt. There's a new, and I don't know if I did said this before, there's a new AED, automatic external defibrillator. It's on the info booth down in the park now, on the front side, right next to the steps. It is an automatic. It will talk you right on the way through it. If somebody should need to use it, just so you're aware, when you pop the door, it's gonna scream at you. It has an alarm on it. As soon as the door gets shut, it'll go silent, okay? And that's under the tutelage, of Silver Waters. We'll keep check of the batteries. We'll do the tests each year when they come due. There may be another one put up down at Mark Jones Park down by the lake. And we've got one just inside the door here now. So Matt, you're up.
So there was a household garbage issue downtown. And I had asked Kevin to make some signs, and he did it right away. And Josh, I believe, installed them, because he can, every time he's down there trying, there's his household garbage flowing out containers, so he's taking care of that. Lori Burbridge gave me issue about the needed playground mulch.
Yeah.
So I contacted Finger Lakes Mulch and Soil, and playground mulch, found out they can sell it in bags. Terry went the next day and picked it up, and they spread it around to the needed areas and bags.
I think that is a good idea, because what they don't use there, they can use around trees or whatever, so I think that was a good
Well,
idea.
you don't wanna use that kind because that
Well,
is
just to have-
I
expensive.
know it's for the kids, but.
No, it's expensive.
It wasn't all that bad.
Wasn't
In
No,
comparison to
it
what
really
you
wasn't that
use
bad.
for other trees, you're better off to save it because there'll be more hopefuls, but it's much easier to spread that way.
It was only $300 tags.
Anyway,
No, I don't think so. So then, Kevin told me about the Heights, road cut repair that they did when they did the sewer cut.
Yeah, they did cut for.
Yeah, the sewer, so I went, met with Angus and Terry, and they were already on it kind of. So they actually seen, like, Angus actually fixed the entire. Sent me pictures and I think it's in really good shape right now. There was a red light, storm lift station, storm lift station noticed by a resident named Bill. So I had Terry and Angus reset all the storm lift stations at all. And then the cleaning of the grease traps, Angus mentioned that to me, so I talked to Josh, Greg about that, and then he went out the next day and cleaned those, I believe, too. So he had the pump, the thing that whatever that pump was to grease out those stations. So I did talk to Kevin about the hydrant flushings and the dead ends, and he had a better idea, I believe. Let him know
Yeah, so
about
we're just, and I told Wood about it too, we're gonna try and see, I have to confirm with Junior, he's gonna actually, I think we're talking about it tonight, at the fire department. They're gonna see what the young guys are looking about and, blow off the hydrants to teach them how to open up hydrants. So we already have to flush them anyways, so why not kill two
Time to
birds
do
with
it.
one stone? The only thing is I have to notify Dustin, because if you're gonna have a water leak, it's probably gonna happen when you're opening up the hydrants.
Well, as long as they don't slam them tight
Yeah,
and crack them open in a hurry, if they do it slowly, it'll be okay, but it's when they shut them down quick that it, you will hammer someplace,
Yeah.
but, okay.
so it just, he's gonna let me know after tonight when they talk, and then that'll suffice for, you only have to. Open up your main hydrants once every 6 months, that is, I think, for every months, maybe a quarter, so we'll figure it out after tonight.
Yeah, they got engines, what would we want?
it. Yeah,
Laura?
okay, the playground committee has been very active. We had a event July 3rd and I'd like to congratulate. NAST for a great event. I think this one was really well attended and we certainly had lots of things going on. And thank you to Leo Landing for the fundraiser that they held with breakfast. We raised $605, was it? I've forgotten, but anyways, that was great. We're still waiting on grants and looking forward to our next meeting on August. Actually, I have 4th here. It's actually the 5th at 8:30 AM. The LWRP, everyone should have received a letter from Sharon Lilla that gave the standard of it in your. Yeah, I probably came about a week ago.
No.
Yeah, it was in the email, it's Soda's Point. Anyways, if you didn't get it, I'll get it to you, but it tells exactly where everything is. And then Kevin is rewriting the Barton and the Judas logistics code changes to reflect the code for the village of Soda's Point. B&L really didn't hit the mark on that. So it's created quite a bit of work for him. So we've held off and I believe, will they be ready for the next meeting?
Oh, yeah, and it'll be, I'm hoping to have it ready for zoning to start on Monday.
Okay,
I have one more article to get through.
okay,
But
great.
we're just gonna have to figure out, I mentioned it to Matt, it's a lot for anyone to review, so I don't know how we're gonna get through that.
How many pages did you say it was?
I'm at 110 right now, I'm like 45,000 words, so it's a lot for.
Yeah.
These are your-
So the zoning board will be reviewing it.
Zoning's gonna go through the sections that they are affected by, and then planning will go through the whole thing.
Does that go back to the LWRP? and
Yep,
stuff?
yeah, so it's gonna go to Bob as well, so Bob is gonna get, as soon as it's done, I'm gonna send it to Bob, send it to our board, so everyone will hopefully do it at the same time.
Okay.
And simultaneously review it, and then it's just a lot for.
Yeah, you can stop, man, on there.
All righty.
We did not, or at least I didn't get.
Sure.
In my email.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw that you had. Anyway, okay, well, I'm incorrect. And then in CEC, we got notice today, I don't know if you saw it, Bill, that that grant is still available. And it's approved, and they wanted to know if we wanted to do anything more, basically. And, so, Kathy and I were talking, and we think maybe we should be looking at it again. Kathy, you wanna share what you found after?
Yeah, so this is, you know, this will never come up again, at least not in the near future. And it's a 2 grant system. It's a grant for the machine and the equipment and grant to put it in. And I remember one of the conversations, and there is a question I still don't know, but one of the conversations that we had was, is it going to be up-to-date equipment or whatnot? And I have a family member who's had formerly been involved with EV stations, and she said that yes, there's a list, and I got it. It's NYSERDA has a list of up-to-date equipment, load sensing, fancy things, you know, fully programmable stuff like that. So it's the current stuff. It's not something they've had sitting in the back room. So it also, and I said, well, you know, what about, do they get outdated or whatever? I mean, at some point they do, but this would be, you know, current equipment. It's like not buying a computer because there's a better one coming along in 6 months or a year, you know, you gotta look at that. So there's only, is that 3-phase down there? Do you know?
I
It's
think
not
we're
very
gonna
long.
do that.
Yeah, we have 3-phase pending at,
Yeah.
it's stop, it doesn't quite make it,
Right.
cause when we were looking at the compactor, we're gonna have to extend and put a transformer on the ground. So it's
Oh,
gonna
okay,
be-
so maybe 3-phase will be down there. Well, it depends where they
It,
go.
it's not there yet, and
Yeah.
it's pretty expensive to run it over there.
Yeah.
Is the equipment you're looking at a DC? Is it a direct?
No,
current?
it's AC.
It's AC, okay.
And what we have down there now are 232 amp
Yeah,
units. And they have on the list all the way up to 80 amp that you can put on AC, I guess.
do you have 80 amp on yours?
Yeah, again,
You do, okay.
it runs on 100 amp.
Yeah,
Then it actually, you need 100 amp breaker.
Yeah,
That's just regular.
okay, alright.
okay, all right.
The other side of this is,
So-
like, we at one time, said we talked about, can we place them where we want?
Yeah,
them?
that's the iffy thing.
And can we put a charge card slot on?
Oh, yeah, they're fully, and the
Yeah.
new ones, you can
That's-
say it's free for the first 10 minutes, and then after that, or it's free after this, or before that, or weekends, or weekdays, you can do. And you can have it if you have a double unit, and 2 cars come up, let's say it's an 80 amp unit, you can have it, so they each get 40, or it load senses, depending on what you get, and maybe this one doesn't have as much, and this one's got more low, you know, whatever, and it'll give one more than the other, but it'll split the, you know, it'll split the.
Cause I know before they dictated where they wanted us to put them in.
Well, that's
Right.
the.
They had other ideas.
That's the question. It does, one comment that she made was and it doesn't apply to us, but it has to be available 365 days a year, and I don't think we have any place that's closed behind gates, but yeah, but
You know, when I go to Old Forge, they had it in the library, they had a free one, they had one over behind a restaurant.
really,
They had like 3 or 4 of them. And then the one place that I got charged, it was like $3 to charge.
it was a lot.
Oh, a lot more money, yeah. It was, I'm like, I'm not taking that thing on a trip again.
Yes. If you
At
can.
home's a lot cheaper.
So you can, if you wanna charge, you know, and you would have to have some sort of a network, so we'd have to have internet that gets to it.
Yeah, they could find them, I mean.
Yeah,
They
I
can,
don't know.
they can put a Verizon card in them. There's a ton of ways to make internet work.
Yeah.
You have Wi-Fi in most places around the village.
You could do
If
some here.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
can see it, we can hit it.
But then once they know where they are, I mean, they'll
Yeah.
go.
And you can decide how much you wanna, you know, if you wanna cover your
So-
costs at 22 cents a kilowatt or something, whatever,
So,
or not charge.
yeah.
Or charge,
the only thing we really have to do is we would have you write the letter that says, yes, we are
I
interested
don't know.
in going back, we would like to.
I sent it to you.
Yes.
Cause that one
And
is one I
Billy
thought was
too.
amazing,
Think,
but it wasn't considered.
have a revision of what it is you're giving us
I send you the
or
list.
what it all is. And, but it won't, I talked to him and that's how I got the information back. Cause we
Yeah,
talked at a
electric has
meeting,
gone up.
And it's gonna
Okay.
continue to go up.
yeah,
It's gonna continue.
We're at 20
But-
cents roughly. a month.
I know one of the arguments was it takes up parking spots,
That's why you could do some up here. And it would.
but I don't know if that, I thought, and I didn't dig through my paper because I haven't been home since I got that if it is specifically for a set thing and they,
Down there, like, if you go there on the weekend, there's cars that don't even have EVs
Plug
parked
in.
in front.
Yeah.
So this would be off the beaten path. I mean, something like this area.
yeah.
you can put
Be okay.
signage up that says legally. If there are no other places to park and nobody's in this EV station, it's acceptable, but if there are parking spots, please don't park here unless you're charging.
Were you involved in this initially or? was it-
No, I was
It's
not.
just me.
Why don't you, if you would, check into some of these questions we have, see if
Okay.
there's any changes,
But because I was still communicating while this was going back, I'm not sure they're gonna take it from me until they get the okay from you.
Okay.
If you send it back with just a note that says, we are definitely still interested in these since I came on board. And Lori will get in touch with you and I'll write the letter tonight when I get home.
okay.
So, and I can send it to you tonight so that you can send it out.
That's fine, send it here, please,
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
excellent.
I mean, we know our limitations. Can't drive too far. You gotta know, make sure you're charged.
Yeah, well,
And you don't wanna go on a vacation because it costs so much.
well, the ideal place would
I
be
mean, unless
to
you
have
want
a couple of
Sit
them
there
at
for a while and pay a lot of money.
at the museum.
Some are free, depending on where you find.
This one,
Oxford Field was people.
so those ones are amazing, they're quick, those are AC, though, they're
Do they
decent.
charge?
That one to get me almost to like 80% was only $5. Yeah, it's super cheap, and it's quick. It depends where you go to.
Yeah. That was at 40.
Yeah, I'm
So-
not
You
gonna-
all set on one?
Yep.
Kevin, you got anything you want to add?
I don't think so, I think we're in good shape.
Okay, public comments?
So Billy brought up a good point about the flushing of the hydrants and that, you seem to be schooled in it. Who's gonna have it?
I've done a few of them.
If they surge a line.
Yeah.
They can, we can end up with more water breaks.
Yeah.
On this, on both lines. We can do a lot of just, if they haven't been flushed regularly. There's a lot of sediment sitting at the bottom that could wreak havoc with the households and everything, so we really gotta make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and the biggest thing with the surge in that is when they're using it to pump off the pumper with. If somebody shuts the line down, it's not so much opening and closing the hydrants here, it's when they shut the pumps down and that's what hammers the lines, so. They shouldn't have to use the pumpers to do it, because that's just emptied it out, but I will make sure I talk with Mike.
I don't know.
And
who's these been, I drive around this village all the time, I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Well, I've seen signs that, well, like, to be very truthful, I'm almost thinking I saw signs out there very well, it could have been the Market Tennessee.
And yeah, and the people in charge would be Dustin, and we have the 3 guys from Sodas who are all operators, they would be overseeing it, and then the people who would be opening it would be the. Yeah, to help us.
I sat through the water meeting, and they said that like our main bells were exercised on a regular basis, but I personally watched 2 services get swapped out live.
Yeah.
So that tells me
Okay.
that they didn't know the main bells were, or they weren't being exercised, or they weren't
It'd
working.
be nice to find everything.
What's that?
Nice to find where everything is.
Yeah, I don't believe that was true.
Make sure they were.
Engineer standpoint. Seeing we have this gap in our DPW. The force main storm pump stations, are they on an automatic cycle where they turn on, or does somebody have to physically go exercise?
I think they
those?
gotta physically exercise
Yeah.
every year.
That's why there's no light.
Is it every year or is it every quarter?
It's
Because
supposed to be every year is what the plan was, is that someone has to open up the cabinet every year and turn it on, was the original explanation that we
5
got from.
minutes, whatever. And turn it
Yeah,
out.
and exercise, and then hanging out the turbidity curtain.
But yeah, and so who's? Is anybody? issue.
Yeah, me either.
I just wanna make sure that,
Yeah.
because if we have a flood come spring, I don't wanna be running around trying to figure out. You know, oh, the thing's loaded with sand or the pumps aren't leaking.
That
Or they can't hit the gates, cause you know, they're stainless steel. but,
I just
you know,
don't mean, so
they're-
they think it's on
I
it.
think they just get them off.
Gravity mains.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure we get those 3 pump stations, we gotta service them. Because when it comes time to need them, we're gonna need them. If we're not, so I don't know what the succession was of information.
Well, I think one of the discussions I think I had was that we actually have a contractor come do that, so
No, I don't think we're paying them.
we're not paying them
You
this year.
remember, cause I thought we did have a
I
contract.
thought we had a contractor, but once a year.
I think we have to.
Again, we'll figure it out, but
Yeah.
that was in a discussion that I think I had with Tracy, actually.
Cause it's only hitting the switch, so.
It's opening the cabinet, hitting the switch.
It's like
running.
$500.
Yeah.
To do it, so we figured, so now we had Angus and Terry do it. So
I do.
I believe they did them all.
Sorry, it wasn't until they had to close it and you take and throw the switch.
Only joke.
As far as I know, everything's good.
I
The lights off,
I
right?
driven by these outlets and a lot of them are still. Gravity ones are still, they're lower, they're still.
That light went off, right? That light's on.
Yeah. Okay.
So they take care of
Yeah,
that.
I just, it's a totally new system, we haven't had to use it yet,
And
fingers crossed.
we did have a discussion about, I think, down near the, I think there's a one down there that's all sanded in,
Yeah,
that they were talking about, I think, I don't know who was telling me about it. Probably build riprap there to protect it.
they
Kind
were
of
like, they were
down
down
there.
here. You know, again, it's kind of an experimental system when we got, you know, it was engineered, but it's full all the time, it's kind of loaded.
Right.
So. And the height of the bay.
We have an agreement with Fleet Pump and Service Group. And it's renewed annually, so we're good through March. Thanks. So I will have to see
Yeah, I
what
think-
Josh says about that, because this is a 1-year agreement and it's dated March 11th, 2024.
Yeah.
I'm not talking sanitary, I'm talking the new storm sewers.
Yeah, these are the 3
There's no-
storm sewers, and then
Yeah.
they wanna have the fleet pumps do these two for the other ones, that's coming up later on in the meeting.
You know, the last time they were ran or not.
They said that was 2024. I don't think you got it.
So that's why they probably had that red light went on.
So we'll have to see if Josh can reach out to them, because he's been in touch with them about the wastewater stations, so he's got a working relationship with them, we can see. if
So the other question is, do we need to somehow jet the gravity end of it?
To clear the debris, you're saying?
Oh, yeah, because I mean, if they're silted in, you're not gonna, it's not
I'd
gonna.
have to see, I haven't put eyes on it to know. And do you know if they have the gates down or the gates up right now to be released?
Well, the gate's gotta be up. The gate are only on that one.
I'd have to go put eyes on it to see what condition is out there. I haven't put eyes.
I've
on
been
it.
watching, David's so on it, pretty happy, so we gotta keep an eye on it.
Okay,
Yeah, so.
thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Bill.
Anybody else? Oh, yes.
I have the letter from Sharon Doyle. I am on the LWRP committee, and basically, I'll just read it as part of the LWRP process. Carriers as the zoning code were reviewed by the consultant team and the waterfront advisory committee. And if you don't know what the waterfront advisory committee is, it's part of the LWRP. And the planning board has a criteria that they list that they have to go through, it's required. And the changes are recommended, presented to the public already. So basically what she's saying is that she sent Lori a copy of all of the public comments on the LWRP, and she's saying it doesn't come back to the village board. So just wanted to note that. My other, and you've got going,
After the rewrite,
I don't know about that. That's something you should talk to Sharon. I think
Yeah.
it goes, I don't think, well, see, Matt, you can, the village board is not involved in the LWRP at all.
no, I know that.
Right, so it doesn't come back for comment to the village board ever. So, anyway, I don't know if it has to go back out for public comment. I think it should, but I don't know that. But that's something, Kevin, you should check on, because
if there's that many, if they're just like typo corrections?
No, it's a full rewrite.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that.
and that's, I've been in communication with Sharon, so her and I, yeah, I've been talking.
So
I
that,
just wanted to.
you and I talked about it, it would go back to the LWRP.
Yeah,
To take,
Right,
to look,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's exactly what we talked about.
Okay.
Yep.
And I just want you to be aware, since both Kevin and Mary are here, of what's going on the beach. There's a meeting that I didn't attend the full meeting, but I do think it's important that this board knows what's going on. There's a lot of confusion about the height of the beach dune. There's a lot of finger pointing to individuals. And it's unfortunate because those dunes are a protection. Some of the dunes are really high and they can be narrowed, okay? But what the biggest complaint is, I'll tell you, it's the grooming. Because when you say, Mary, like, the beach is not groomed all the way down, okay? And the residents want that groomed by the county, but the county won't do it because they have to go through private property. So Mary and Kevin, what are you working on exactly? Can you say?
it's a long list of stuff, so I mean, to give you like a brief synopsis, it's,
So
I guess-
understands what's going on. It's their approach.
the nicest way to put it is right now, we're just trying to gather information, I think. We're gathering information to figure out what everyone wants, what's practical, and then start there and have a meeting. And that's our first meeting with the beach committee. And then once we know what everyone wants, we'll go back to Beth and with all that information gathered up and say, is this practical? What can we go? And then we'll make a plan from that. That's the,
Beth Gildar is with the DEC, she is with the CHA. So she's the one that they're the ones that make the decision on, you know that the village got fined, like.
Article 34, yes, CHA, we lost our CHA back in 2014.
But because somebody pulled out the beach grass, we had to spend, what was it, almost 2,000 to replace it. So we're the ones that are on the line, and they actually said they'll pull our ready money if we don't abide by the CHA rules. So it's really important. And just the last thing I want to talk about is this is a public hearing. This is being recorded. I have been slandered regarding the public dock situation, which I had absolutely nothing to do with. One individual from the community has slandered me on Facebook. I just want a yes or no from either one of you. Did I have anything to do with the dock situation and the docks being destroyed?
Not to my,
That's my knowledge either.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make that public, because the person that did it is sitting right there.
You're the one that slandered me, you were lying.
No, I was
Okay,
not.
okay, okay,
Well,
I didn't say nothing to anyone, I don't know what I'm talking about.
folks, please. Mary?
What about on Facebook?
it's gonna catch up with you, Bill.
I think the other thing too, Kevin, just to go back to the sand dune thing, just because we have everybody here. The other piece that we're working on is getting all of the entities together and talking that need to be together. So the village is the permittee. DEC is the one that manages the CHOP program, so they're the regulatory authority. Kevin Rooney from Department of Highway has been up here twice and met with us to talk about what the county can and can't do. And Maxine, I think you said it correctly, that Kevin will not, like the county, the way that the properties are right now, it's not like half of it is county ownership of the dune and the other half is private. It's all mixed. So to get the equipment in, you can't get it in without driving over or through private property. So the county can't do that unless they get sign off from everyone. So I think that's the nut.
And does everybody, will they use?
Use what? The,
The county area.
so that's a loaded
Yeah.
question. You have the
It's-
county property, then you have to low water, I think, or some people it's high water, it all changes.
It depends on your deed, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of confusion on stuff and.
Well, we have a beach area that they go to, right?
Our, yeah, the county beach,
This is the,
and then the dude was
What?
built,
West.
yeah.
And they
Well,
do have
I
gotten
mean,
really.
they could have conservation easements with the individual, like Buterra that goes right to the water, Gene Halleck, and there's like 4 properties, and so that
There's
could be
actually 11,
a lot.
so it's half, almost half. So it is much bigger, a larger proportion. than
That
us.
is, yeah.
But the process has been started
The
to,
process has started, all of the people are talking and Kevin spoke with Laura Hayden today, the beach committee chair, to let her know that all these conversations are going because it did get pretty ugly via email with a couple of people, and so we wanted to make sure that the property owners are all aware that stuff is happening. It just may not look like stuff is happening. A lot of conversations have happened. And Kevin and I are talking way too much to each other.
yeah, okay.
And in
Thank you,
fairness
Mary.
to those people,
Yeah.
there was a real control issue there with
We're trying to dial that in now, trying to get everything.
getting,
Probably the-
including all property owners, is a great start.
I don't want people watching.
No, right now it's just getting the dune management control. That's what the thing is, yeah.
Yeah, because dunes get really big and then dunes get really small. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Nature big, yeah, a big water storm.
Any public comment on Zoom? Any other from the powers to be?
Yeah.
Russell, how are you?
Hi there. Good evening, board. My name is Peter Gothel. I'm the grandson of Peter and Honey Laura Gothel at 8603 Craig Street. I have a big problem, which hopefully has a small and simple solution to it. And I just wanted to come in person and explain that I've already sent pictures. I've talked to several members of the board and people from this building that we have a water collection problem in our driveway, which is due to the new curb setup that's been put in since the flooding issues. The grate is a lot higher than our driveway has always been. And because of that, the water doesn't leave, and it has, I believe the mayor is aware because we've had several ambulance visits this year. We have significant ice buildup because of that in the winter time. And I spoke to someone else in the community who's a prominent person who said that if the board was in a good mood, they'd probably just say, throw a layer of asphalt on top of it while you guys are repairing the streets. And we'd be fine with that. It's just that we have, 3, 4, 5 inches of ice that I can't keep up with shoveling because it sometimes happens overnight.
I can stop by and look at it.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Some of our neighbors are impacted by it as well. I'm representing 8603 right now. And we'd be happy just to have somebody raise the driveway a little bit. I don't think we have to put drains in or dig holes or anything. I think it'd be a pretty quick fix.
Okay,
No problem.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we move on to old business. The A in old business is the Margaretta Road connection for the valve. I believe it is, right?
Second connection.
Second connection, yeah. I'm not,
So before, Nate left, he got you guys a second quote, and that's from Bob Elliott, Engineering. I don't know what the total was on it.
15,555.
And then, Matt had gotten a quote, what was that down?
I got it 19. I
19.
got it 19. So I'm buying the bills.
And I think they're apples to apples, and they're the same. Bob did make one mention, when I talked to him about it. You mentioned that you potentially could look a little further. Water pressure is always an issue with the heights. We all know that the tank, the heights are built too low. And his thought was you can't really build another layer on it because of the base. You could technically decommission that. Use this second tap as another source, put in a few boosters, and it would actually increase the pressure for both sides of the village potentially. You would have to look into it. So that's a thought when he's
That's a
doing
good
this. So that would be something to look into. Last month, you guys tabled it just because I was a little bit overwhelmed. Now we have our feet underneath us, and I think you're working on the hiring process. This is probably gonna take 6 months with the health department anyways. So by the time you
By the time you get.
design it, bid it, do everything, we're gonna be in the next budget year
Oh,
anyways.
okay.
So it's up to you if you want to.
You just gotta get moving.
I told Kevin the other day when we talked about this to go ahead and get started on it.
Yeah.
I
Do
agree.
we
Do a
need
motion?
to?
Is it,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's totally apples to apples. I mean, this,
Okay.
this one here, the more expensive one, looks like that they are doing, well, they're doing that wetland delineation, which I believe is wetland there, and they're doing some more fee, or, you know, they'll pay more fees as far as, I just kind of read through it quickly, but maybe it seems like this one, I'm not seeing which one to go with, but the more expensive one covers more. I don't know. I'm not the.
And if you wanna wait too until Tracy's back or till you have a water person, cause I'm not a water person either. It totally up to you guys.
I don't know, I don't want you to slow it up on account.
Because this,
I'm sure Bill can do this a long time. I'm fine. I mean, I know both.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met
Yeah.
Bill. He's
Bob,
very,
Bob.
Bob, sorry.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable. and,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Don very well, so I'm fine with the lower price to start out. I mean, I don't think he'll hit any of it if he did.
Yeah.
So to eliminate that.
It's up to you, whatever you guys feel comfortable with.
Make a motion.
Make a motion, we go with, Bill.
I'll second it.
Bob Elliott.
I'll
It's
second.
Elliot.
All in favor?
I,
I,
I second.
and one of the things that Mark Jones said, my first year was that needed to be done. I'm sure he's jumping up and down. Yeah, he said that if we didn't get that done, we could have a disaster on our hands in a pretty short time.
yeah.
And something went
Start
wrong.
getting buckets out of the bank.
Don't
Yeah.
want this.
Nice green water we got going on right now.
Yeah,
You used to it, we moved here, it's been that way. Are we all set with that then for now?
Yeah, we'll
Get the
start,
ball rolling?
get involved.
He
didn't even need it.
B was the short-term rentals, Chatsworth 151. As I said, we're gonna move that to August, to kind of finalize that. We need to digest some of the stuff that was brought up tonight. You know, I know that Bruce has worked long and hard along with the rest of the board and, so we'll go that way. On to new business. The top of the list is wages and raises. You know, we've talked about this, I know the board and has talked about it multiple times, I think we're all on the same boat. With the fact that we do need to try to do something for the guys that are here to bring them up, as well as that's considered retention as far as I'm concerned. However, I have to not vote because my brother Terry's involved. Okay, it would be, I don't necessarily know how much of a real conflict it is, because it's not benefiting me in the long run, but I don't need to have that out there. So, let's hear it. I mean, I know you had,
I've done the math on where, Terry, gets a $2.40 raise, and that becomes, 10.35%.
and that would be all three of them.
So everybody would get a 10.35% of their current.
So,
and I
Because-
think we should include civil service on this.
my other question was, is if in fact there's an Article 26 here, a reopener is what I guess it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just, you'd wanna just open discussions with the union, arrive at an MOU, yeah, memorandum of understanding, and then you would vote to approve that,
Okay, now, my next question is,
which I can't imagine they.
well, we're playing with them,
Yep,
is there anything else that we can do?
DPW, you want to change the name, that's a
There's,
perfect
yeah,
time to do it.
there's some information here that came on changing the goal with the guidelines that we would have to follow and
And I saw
you're different, okay. So I'm not, this isn't something that. I mean, I wanna get started on it without a doubt. I'll get a hold of, Karen.
Okay, Karen's very slow.
And we'll go from there to see exactly what needs to be done. We'll get the ball rolling on this, but I need a motion, like I said, I'm out of. I have to,
So we need a motion for the amount of 10.35.
well, yeah, we need the motion that we are going to be going back into deliberations. You word this for me.
Yeah, well, you could do a motion to, well, first you'd want to appoint whoever's gonna be the negotiating team. But you don't necessarily have to do a motion at a formal meeting, because it involves labor and personnel, so I mean, you can.
We basically have an agreement for just by
Yeah.
the nod that it's,
You just need the actual final agreement to be approved by the board.
We just gotta create that, and
Yeah, well, you can do a motion, I mean, it's not.
No, it's not necessity, I don't have a problem, I just, remember, first time through,
So who is the negotiating team?
I will be one of them,
That's not, this one, I get their reason.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah, because
so. You're okay with negotiating it
Oh, cause you're.
with a
yeah,
conflict?
is it?
Probably should avoid it if you can,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Logan,
So the
will
board will-
make this over,
Board can
make
make the
this over a
letter,
little
we can
bit.
make the letter, put it in
Okay.
put it in way, and be consented.
What is special scenes, the whole board, I think, Karen, like with Tracy, the whole board, where they all talk.
Sure.
That idea.
Because, yeah.
There
That's
you
not
go.
a bad idea.
Come put all the information we need from human resources.
Yeah.
If
And civil
people do-
service too.
And that way there's no heat and swing from the discussion where they.
Yeah.
That way
Right. Can't vote.
Yeah, you just
Right.
can't vote.
Just can't vote, right, I'm
That
cool with that, I'm
That's
up with that,
cool.
I'm up with that.
Great suggestion, Kevin, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm up with that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's something I'll look into, at least seeing when she might be available to do that. I'm assuming early evening, maybe.
Yeah.
During the week, because we're all busy and Mike
Yeah.
is not well at all, and I don't, okay, well,
And it doesn't have to be like an actual board meeting, because the
Right.
union negotiations like that are same from like meetings. So.
Oh, okay,
okay,
that's good.
okay, let me see what I can do there. See when she will be available, and then I will let the rest of the board know, and then, you know, we can sit down with her as a group, like Mel was saying, we'll get, you know, all of our points
Or
together.
we really have to. Or we have to sit down with her as a group or.
Well, I mean, you should include them on the discussion sheet, their representative, so, but I mean, like I said, I don't see why she would oppose that.
No, she's not gonna.
But if you guys are talking about reclassifying positions and stuff, you should certainly have to talk to her.
And should we?
Have her.
Well, I don't think we have to be-
Do we need to reclassify the position, or can we just give them a raise?
Well,
Yeah,
you don't,
What's the benefit to reclassifying is the real question.
Sure is.
I don't think. I would.
just Lori that proposed it, that's the only
No,
reason I'm
no,
saying.
I had just calling it so that everybody worked under the same.
I don't think I'd be classic.
Well, you have to
But-
give them different titles and so forth, I
If
believe,
it's
right?
Yeah.
the DPW,
For civil service, Mel knows better than me. Civil service has like, we always.
Yeah, they have
Labor or something.
any motor equipment operator, which is if you're doing the road construction and maintenance, public works superintendent, which is all three.
public works.
And then wastewater treatment operator, that's one running, for some reason, Mark was a laborer. He was the only one we had justice labor and everyone else was having option. So,
So they're MEO now is what they are.
So if
but
you,
it's because you don't have a wastewater treatment. Or anyone in the water, that's why they're all.
So we motion that we're gonna give a 10.35% raise.
If that's what your motion is.
It's fine.
Well, hold on, again, we should talk to the union first, and, because they may say, well, we want a 20%, you know what I mean, like it could, so.
So if you start at 10, they want more.
Well,
But if we
all
start,
they wanted was to just eat.
Right, but I'm saying we talk to them, get the agreement with them, then you guys do the vote to approve the agreement.
Okay. Okay. So good work.
if they start up, we don't have to do anything until the contract.
Yeah, we really don't have to do anything. we just tell-
You have no obligation, you just negotiated a contract last year.
Right.
Frankly, they got a pretty big raise on their last contract,
But
but
they
if
really.
you wanna give them more, that's, you guys.
They got
are
70
board, so.
cents. They got 70 cents.
It's like $1.50 here.
3%.
Oh,
That would have been
the
this
last
year,
one.
yeah, okay, yeah, maybe
I got like
it was 2 years ago they negotiated it,
Yeah, when,
yeah.
But the towns around us.
Yeah.
And they told me to get all-
Yeah, sorry, I'm fired.
all that.
so we are in agreement though that we're gonna do that, so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The 10.3%.
well, whatever the number is.
That's what's on our
She
mind.
just wanted to make sure we all, across the board, everybody got the same.
Right.
Not this one guy got it.
Yeah.
These guys.
I mean, you could just offer it. The only thing I remembered you saying you wanted to call it the DPW and then.
Well,
go
one
with
time, yeah, I'd like
Public
to, but,
Works, so that was all under one title.
well, and
So
the other,
that
the
you
other
could
part of
help
that is
each
depending
other.
on what we do. I don't know if I've got
It
that.
was not Iowa and Walter.
For their departments, it's water, highways, sewer. Yeah, like broken into three. So.
And we want them to
To
help
gel.
each other out.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, they're all.
That it's
working
not
with each
like
other.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, they're
so
all.
you don't want a department, especially if we're
Kevin.
short-handed.
Mhm.
And in the union contract, it says if they're short-handed, they can basically cross over or do what they have to do.
Then we give you a raise.
Go ahead. No, never mind.
Okay, so I'll make a call, see what we can do there. Well. And then, if that's, next one, golf carts. It's been a pretty blustery call back and forth, work back and forth. The problem that we run into, and it's not really a problem with us. Kevin and I have talked, I know Lori's up on it too. I've worked with the sheriffs. What I've got and what we ended up coming up with is, Sheriff Noby got us a list of golf of what, LSVs, which ones are eligible to be licensed or to be registered, to be duly registered.
New York state law.
Yep, and then we also got a badge from DMV, so we have these now, and if anybody's interested, they wanna come in, they've got one, they can go through this list, and if it's on these two lists.
Well, how about if we upload that to the village website?
Oh, really?
It's not,
yeah, wherever, I can put it on there. Wherever you-
Special.
you can put it,
So call it golf cart list.
yeah,
Well,
Like just on-
Or not, or LSV list.
don't call it golf cart list.
Yeah, LSV list, because golf carts
I
aren't.
mean, it's not, what about drop them? Do you want it news and notices?
yeah, news
project?
and notices should be, and then it'll be there. So that people can look at it and internalize it before they,
Now, let me give you the heads up that we've gotten from Brian Makelo, as he's sending it. The Senate apparently did pass this a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it may be.
right,
However, every time it's gone to the assembly,
it doesn't make it.
it doesn't make it. And that's because the assembly is doing a lot of pushback because of liability that they're concerned it's gonna bring on the state of New York because it's New York State Assembly. The Senate, the assembly takes care of the local area. The Senate obviously is New York State, is a big area. And the way it works out is all three, Senate, the Assembly, and then the governor has to sign the paperwork. If there's a glitch in any one of those, it's toast. The best thing for people to do is if we get it out there, however we happen to do is just let them know that if you're gonna buy something that you know is registered
This list,
on this list, or when you go, if you're gonna go buy something, just make sure that it's something that can be registered, because I have a suspicion that when people went to buy these things, they said, oh yeah, you can register that. Well,
yeah,
they can't.
because
So,
they have turn signals and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
so then if we get control, if we do finally get back from the assembly and get control of our own streets, then we can do a registration system of our own in the village of Silver Spring, which you come up with your own little sticker, you come up with a registration fee, they'd have to have them inspected.
And insurance.
Because as it stands right now, they said there was only 3 or 4 of them that were allowable. Well, there's a lot more than 3 or 4 of them on these two lists. But there's a bunch of them that people have got that are not eligible because they have golf cart written on the paperwork. DMV says if it's got golf cart on it, it is not eligible to do it. But with our own registration, if we can get home use,
Yeah,
the sheriff and I have already talked, and he said, you guys can set up your own registration situation. Another question that was brought up was, well, why don't we have pathways for them? Where are we gonna put pathways? This is not a gated community, and we have such an influx of vehicles, all sorts of vehicles from outside that come into this village,
yes,
okay? Between tractor trailers, I mean, in Florida, you know, when they built a gated community down there, that plan was to have paths in that gated
Yeah.
community. Tough to do that in, like Phil says, 100-year-old town or village.
yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're at. It's not that I'm against it, okay? I'm against the golf cart part of it in the sense that I just want the safety equipment on, it. That's all.
To be honest with you, we had discussed it as being licensed drivers and insured vehicles, I
That too.
believe.
That too.
You know, so those should be there. And then if that's the case, of course, if it's licensed and registered, that's one thing. If we can, so we would not allow anything that couldn't be licensed or registered.
Exactly.
So that.
Exactly, and that would be when the time comes, if it even looks like we have a chance of getting it, we need to sit down and come up with, I mean, there's Kevin, there's all of us need to come up with some rules. Because there are no other places, there's two other places, am I correct? They're trying to do this, or they're just.
Orange County down in.
We're one of two, and every time it comes up in Orange County, they've got a assemblyman down there that puts a stab in it, says no. So the assembly all the way around is really pushing back on this. That's why my suggestion is for people to, if you're gonna buy something right up front that you can do that with, because we don't know if we're gonna get control.
Right.
We really don't. And I know I've been tossed around on Facebook and because I didn't answer up right away and I didn't do this and do that. First of all, I don't do stuff just off the top of my head.
Right.
I've done that in years past and I got whacked for it, and I won't do that. It's just, it's public safety. You know, we've already had 2 accidents and I can't blame that on everybody.
No.
Okay, but we've also already had 2 accidents and one was injured extremely bad. Well, all 3 have been injured very bad. And, but they're all apparently coming around right now. So, that's why.
Yeah, it's a question. So current law is whatever New York State law is, and if you legitimately can buy and register the vehicle per New York State law, it's legal on our streets.
Yep.
Going forward, if we create home use because they passed a law that allows us to do that, then who would be responsible for enforcing that law? Would that be us or would that be the sheriff?
That would be the sheriff.
Okay.
The sheriff said.
So he would
he'd be
enforce
very-
our law.
He'd be
Okay.
very willing to enforce our law, because he said, what you can do is if you get somebody, the main reason the sheriff came into town. Guns blazing, excuse the expression, was because there was 13 and 14-year-olds driving all over the village of Sodas Point, with 6 kids hanging off.
On the sidewalk.
On the sidewalks, all over, and the sheriff saw this, but because nothing had really been said about it, they just kind of went, eh. Because apparently they were told a year and a half ago or whatever, well, stop this group, but don't stop this group. Can't do that, it's gotta be consistent. So anyway, that's where we're at with it, you know,
Even when it's considered for home rule, one of the things I think would be really important is to have a law that goes along with that dusk to dawn. So that the
a time rule,
drinking
we
is-
talked about that as well. But that's what I'm saying, we're just getting into this and we don't know how deep we're gonna go. It's more than likely, it's not gonna happen till next spring, so
Right.
the new trustees that are gonna be coming in, you know,
Dawn to dusk.
we can go with them.
Yeah.
But in any case, that's my suggestion. As some people probably saw, we sent it out on Facebook. I tried to stay away from that because I do not like Facebook. It's that simple. I don't care which one it is, Sodas Points or otherwise. I don't utilize it.
I was glad to see that you sent something up.
Well, it took some time and Kevin and I had
The
talked
research
about
was
it and
done.
we got the chance to put something together that I felt comfortable with. We sent that notice right to Sheriff Milby and Sheriff Milby sent it back and said, I'm cool with that. That's good. So, and they're very willing to work with us. They really are. I'm gonna stop right there with it.
How many times has the state kicked us back on this? Has it gone to vote at the state level or not?
There's been one time that it didn't get there in time for some reason.
Last year, I think.
I think it was. This year, it got there, but they've all been put off to the side because they don't know what to do with it. Okay, so it made it, but they are just kicking back horrible on it. And that came right from Brian Mantelo the other day. I mean, he's also a farmer, as you know, and you know, and the other thing that has to happen, Assembly and Senate have to be identical wording. Okay, so The Senate will go by whatever the Assembly comes up with. Okay, create another problem, but as of right now. They're looking to get something on the books that will be usable, for registration and that type of thing.
So it's not on our plate at the village level, it's at the state level.
No, right now it's still at the state level, yeah,
They should take the pressure off of our.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
that was the hardest part, was having everybody blame.
Yeah.
People saying around this.
I'll tell you what, I could stay home very easily tonight up until yesterday when we sent that thing out.
Yeah.
Because people got a little better understanding as to what's going on. I'll tell you what,
I said, this
you know
has
me.
nothing to do with us.
Yeah, so anyway, that's where, I'm sorry, yeah,
I just want to make sure you understand, Sodas Point taxpayer page is a private page, so if you're posting to that. That does not go.
We didn't.
We did.
No,
We-
it's share it,
It's.
Oh, okay, I just want to say, it does not go to Sodas Point.
We posted it just, this whole.
I have a
Oh,
good.
Facebook page.
Question for Kevin. I believe our code says no motorized vehicles on sidewalk.
On sidewalks, correct?
Okay, so that will include golf carts.
It would be-
yes.
But that's
Okay,
up for the sheriff and the state
So-
for enforce.
how do we enforce that?
So
I mean,
it's
I've
sheriff.
got my own security camera,
Mhm.
but what do? Call up the sheriff? and
Yeah,
say, "Hey, come
911.
look at my video, and then
Yes.
let them drive around and hunt for these
Yes.
kids or these adults. One night, it was one of these black ones with a license with 6 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the sidewalk.
Well, I'll tell you, the night of the fireworks, we had one, because we were standing by over here, we had one pull up to the intersection over here. And he stopped, and he said to the sheriff, it's gonna take me 30 minutes to get home from here, and the sheriff said, well, go up the sidewalks. And listen, I told the lieutenant that, and he went right in the trees, he said, no, I got my men telling him to use the sidewalks. But there's also other things that are gonna blend into this. That's gonna be electric scooters
Yes.
and that stuff on the sidewalks, because right now, you don't hear them coming until they've run over it.
That's right.
But,
But.
and they do have a printout that I have at home or that we can get out that has electric scooters, the mini bikes, all sorts of stuff on it. So,
Bicycles too.
yes,
Oh, I'll tell my grandchildren, that makes me happy.
okay. Let's move on to the interview process here. I get that too. You'll find in our paperwork here, is an interview process. We don't have anything on the books as far as interview. What's this interview process is the same process that's been used in years past, as far as, position, advertisement, and recruitment, I mean, all that stuff is in here. Who does it normally? It's all in here. Pre-employment screening, hiring and probationary period, board notification, the whole 9 yards is that's what's been used in years past. Like I said, it's not in the books or in the files. If it's something we think we want to do, you might want to take this with you.
But I know that the other employees wanna, if they're gonna be working side by side with this guy for years on it. They wanna meet him, talk to him, make sure that they wanna stay.
Well, the way this sets up is that the person that's in charge of like the highway, or in charge of the water, or in charge of wastewater. Can be involved in the interview process.
But in this process, we don't have anybody that's really in charge.
Well, that's it. That's
So
it.
then I
So,
think you should either
Just let
base
them
it
all.
on seniority or just let them all.
Well,
I don't think that would be,
because everybody's doing a little bit of everybody's job.
yeah.
but the other thing I don't want is I don't want a friendship fest. Okay, and if you know what I mean by that is I don't want everybody's buddy coming to this thing and saying, oh, he's gonna be perfect for the job. Because there's things in the DPW that we were looking at. One of the requirements in the DPW is that everybody has a CDL. Okay, now, the people that we've taken in so far, as far as applications go,
But it doesn't say that, it says, or have it within a year.
well, in the HR thing.
In the HR thing, it says, or have it within 1 year.
The problem we've had with that is we've got people that we put in jobs that were supposed to have it within the next number of time and they haven't been, and
Then you have all that investment in their time.
and the people that are coming through the door right now all have CDL, either A's or B's. But anyway, just that's what we need, you know, you need to take this, take a look at it. If you see something you wanna touch up, we can, but it's gonna need to come back, to the board. I mean, we've interviewed a couple of people already. One of them, there is no reason whatsoever that we shouldn't have him come in. He's water. He's got his A, B, and C license. He's that far away from having the D license. He's got a lot of head on his shoulders. He helped on the digging on the side hill up here. But the one thing you gotta remember,
He's an excavator. Huh? No, I can't say it. Yeah, sorry.
and
Yeah, we really can't do
Oh,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I wasn't gonna say name anyways, but in any case,
So how can we help though?
He's hired. He's a hired employee. Once they're hired.
Oh, we
Part-time,
already hired.
part-time.
so you're,
He's
no,
hired helping us. He's not turning.
he's one of them that's working with helping us do our digging in that village right now for us.
So,
We'll talk.
okay,
I just know that the guys want to be part.
Yeah.
So whether all three come here and sit
Yeah.
out there and ask questions.
Yeah.
They just want to be part.
Billy, you're dripping back there. What's up, buddy?
Well, it's come to light that. Cause we bought an excavator instead of a backhoe, and then we had to buy a trailer, we need either a class A restricted. Or a class A CDL, to hook the truck to the dump truck to move the excavator for when we have these water breaks. So. I think it's a higher level of, you know, when you're looking
If
at.
they have a towing endorsement, they're fine.
Yeah, it's an A restricted.
It's a towing, yeah, and mine's NPS and W, so my
So
towing
we
is.
just gotta make sure, we don't wanna be in a situation where our one guy with an A is out of town and we can't move
No,
the excavator in emergency, we need to have a backup.
Yeah, I know,
We can still.
Right out there, the class B is not gonna do it.
On hand, like it's,
Well,
we don't have
class
any
B
guys.
can do it depending on the subject, like the haul.
Yeah.
But we could still have.
I think we need to know the number, our truck, our trailer and our excavator,
That costs.
gross combined weights. Get the right license.
Yeah, problem. Okay, anyway, you know, take this paper, please look at it, get back to us. Because we do need to get some people on board, without a doubt. Is that,
how close are we to having the guy on? And you don't need us to endorse him or anything.
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. Not with the, at least the one and possibly the other one, but we have to look at his. And retain him, to keep him and retain him with the amount that he has, and that may be something we need to talk to the
Union.
union about. She doesn't like me right now, so I told her the other day some stuff.
So does this guy want to be? Well,
We can't talk about it.
Okay.
That's up to him.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna move that way. I'll keep everybody.
He doesn't have a choice. Because
We're staying out of it.
honestly,
Yeah.
hire him outside the county,
Okay,
as a manager.
savings and interest. You're up.
I put it on there because Lori had asked for it to be put on the agenda.
So that we would get,
Did you read the email that Tracy added? to
yeah,
the
it's right
packet?
here,
Okay.
but I hadn't seen it until yesterday, so I sent in agenda stuff just as a reminder, so to speak. Hopefully it was helpful.
So that cleared it up though.
Well, basically, how about you?
I honestly didn't read it yet. I'll read it later. I'd rather read it, think about it.
Well,
It's a business. They thought they were gonna lose a customer, so they.
but there
So
was,
that's the problem.
So Tracy-
They up it. quite
Tracy
good.
did a nice job on this because she went back to 23 and 24 when we were only receiving 0.03. And then she went back as far as our other statements where we were receiving 0.05. And that would have been after COVID, right? So my question here is, I think your question was legitimate. Why did it ever go to 0.03? And Tracy asked the question.
Now we're
No.
making 3.5.
Well,
That's a big difference.
So the way I read it is what happened was some of the municipalities went to this other organization and moved all their money.
'Cause they're
Yeah.
making more.
And Lion was like, well, crap, we don't wanna lose the revenue, so
Right.
we're just gonna give more interest
So they took it.
proactively. So that we don't lose more
So when they
customers.
gave us the 3.5 this year, was that the reason?
It literally says right in
That's what it says here.
says right in our email. That they didn't wanna lose
So
our
they took
business.
advantage.
Right, then they pick the funds
Yeah.
local because a lot of municipalities were
Right.
taking funds to not.
That's why I think we should leave and make them give us a little bit more money.
Well,
But that's.
I think you'll find that
3.5.
what happened, what happened through the,
Local
pandemic, everybody was a low interest rate through the pandemic because nobody knew what was going on. And then when it finally came to light, after the pandemic is when it ended up being caught, and that's when they moved up, so.
I'm gonna see what this.
They made a lot of interest.
To Google it too, New York class.
I'm doing it right now, speaking. Did you see the paperwork on the class? The MCC.
Yeah, I think we should go to that as a board.
It's only a 2 hour,
It's 2 hours on the 20th.
of August.
And I thought maybe if we invited Phil, but so far he's the elect. Or, I don't know if anybody else is coming, but
What are we talking?
There's, so the class, I don't know.
Is that a cost? consultant?
it's for,
It's free.
I had it here.
Yeah, it's free.
Can anybody sign up?
It's-
Could I as a public sign up if I wasn't a
Yeah,
board member?
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm wondering.
I don't know. It's not.
yeah, it's through Nikon. And there's one that came in, so-
If I'm able to, I'll go regardless.
I guess, I guess my question would be is if there's any money being outlaid by the municipality, if they're reimbursing for mileage, anything like that, then shouldn't it include Phil with that, since
Yeah.
he's not elected yet?
Yeah.
But if it's open to the public, then certainly, those,
Yeah.
we want them to attend.
It's, the Nikon, we all got a notice from Nikon. They sent it to mine anyways.
Oh, I think I did get that. and it didn't.
So anyways, it's a topic of, discussion will include gifts, nepotism, recusal, prohibited interest in municipal context and use of municipal resources. There is no charge for this workshop, but we do ask that you please RSVP to Carrie Hoffman by email.
Yeah.
Yes, Bedford for what?
And the village at 20 Oil Falls.
SP.
When's the workshop for thing?
In the 20s.
It's the MCC. MCC. Oh, what's your-
Like going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a.
Yeah, it's MCC.
Well, you learn a lot of good stuff from it, because municipalities are they aren't like dealing with anything else. And this,
Not to mention Mancini you wanna listen to because he chatted like a freaking chipmunk.
yeah, but he
talks fast.
is filled with good
Smart man.
information, and he takes questions at any point. And that's a very valuable resource as far as I'm concerned, to therefore, for a second opinion.
Okay. Yeah, let's, I don't have a problem with it, and we'll see what the situation is with public command.
20th?
Yeah,
Did you? Have,
Yeah. And I'll write.
executive session.
Yeah. yeah.
Is this where we would do that? Executive session?
We got this.
We gotta pay the bills first.
No, isn't there
You
something?
wanna do the bills first?
And is there any other?
Other
new
business?
The pump?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's pay the bills, do the pumps and then.
Yeah.
So shall we pay the bills first?
Did we have to buy that fleet thing?
Yeah, it's under other business.
Oh, okay, great, okay.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to pay the bills, claims 7-1 through 750. Totaling 92,339, of which general funds is 61,978. Water is 8,103, and wastewater is 22,257.
Motion,
So,
second,
Second.
all in favor?
I,
Yes. Okay, fleet pumps preventative maintenance quote.
Should be in the very end.
And had nothing to do with Kevin.
News were trying to leave.
There was a new pump in the pump we're talking about.
So that would be the information, how much it would be if we bought a new phone versus how much it would be if we fixed it. So when she gets back next week, she's gonna send me because one of the equipment, one of the actual, there's obviously a huge price difference, but then you guys can look at numbers.
So we don't have the numbers here.
Yeah, it's your someplace.
No, this is a different one.
Oh,
This
okay.
is the preventative maintenance. agreement.
Oh, okay.
Where all the pump stations are on the back. That this
I thought we voted.
I think we just had Josh, well.
I thought it was table. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I thought it was.
I think it was.
It may have been tabled then, okay.
We had that.
And he was gonna try to get another quote, but, he said that Casper, Flight and Fleet have all kind of merged. And there's really not too many other places that do it, Encino, I guess does, but he said that they are not responsive. No billing aspects, sometimes they're difficult too, because I thought it would make this things that hurt us before it happens, and then it doesn't.
Line also the billing,
Yeah,
so then they get hooked up with their flow payers.
no,
No,
prepay things.
so it's a prepaid, but they don't perform the services.
We have to pay for everything, and you have to chase people.
Well, maybe it's.
So if
You have to chase. them.
Jeff really wants to work with the fleet, because they're really. I mean, he's struggling with how. So,
And every discussion I have is Calcino still hasn't responded.
That's terrible. And they used to be really a stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like the only guy left is the guy that owns the place, and then everybody else is like fair worker.
Are the towns taking over responsibilities? Is that what? I
don't know.
He's looking at other, you know,
We
other
talked,
organizations that can do it.
at one time, we talked to Federals about doing this, and Alan wanted nothing to do with it, so he's so busy anyways, but he was local. And that's why we did, but if this is the gentleman, or is the team that's only one that's around that's left, and we've looked, we waited. Wow, 60 days basically now,
Wonder why there's on one lot. You're in White Plains.
Maybe they have a local.
I just wonder like all the other towns are just doing their own.
Yeah,
I
but
don't,
that's not.
why don't we ask,
Place we can be in.
I mean, the religious services guys, let's ask them what they're doing and what they're doing. Why don't we just ask, just find out,
Can't hurt.
and Williamson must have one, so.
Well, Colosino, up until about 6 months ago, we used them at the cold storage all the time, and they were so responsive to you.
So I don't know if they're
The
more
long
around, I mean, I know there's a lot of
systems,
contractors that are
And
losing
it was-
people, right? A lot of people retiring and they're still new is brutal.
Who wants to make the calls to check around?
I'll talk to Josh this week, and then if you know somebody cool.
I,
Oh, no, make a motion.
Yeah.
and I
Make a
said,
motion.
But
Yeah,
Call around.
yeah, no, that's okay. So Josh has already started, and I'll look at some more.
But this is this isn't the SCADA thing, this is for the PM,
yeah,
this is different.
yeah,
Yeah, and this does need to be done, so.
it's $4,600, it's probably
That's for.
good
here, correct?
4,600 spent,
Yeah, I would say so.
you
and
know?
that's on the back of that first page, it's, I mean, it's a
Right.
lengthy list.
Right,
Stations.
Yeah, he has said there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done.
Do you-
We can do it.
We've used them before too, haven't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, then,
So
Yeah.
can we make a motion to just do this?
yeah,
yes,
Do you have enough?
Yeah, it's only $4,600.
You have enough so that this
So we're
one,
changing the oil.
Good enough?
That's-
Yeah.
okay, so I make a motion
yeah,
second,
that we do this.
I'll second,
all in favor?
Hi,
One deal. Okay, now we do the,
I have one item for executive session.
I have one for real estate for executive session.
Okay.
Yours was potential litigation, or we could call it.
Yeah,
Kevin told me about
okay.
okay,
So we,
okay, see you later.
thank you. So we're going into executive session.
Yes, so we need a motion. So we need a motion to close the regular meeting at this time.
I'll make a motion, everybody raise their hand.
No, we gotta go to executive session.
Executive, then you go back, then you close,
All right.
or adjourn.
I need a motion that we need to go into executive session.
I so moved.
Second.
I'll second.
You have to leave.
Usually.
You have to leave, like. Come on, hey.